Yes, lads, welcome back to the channel. This is another episode of the EFL review. Tell you what a weekend yet again. It just never seems to disappoint. We've had some upsets, we've had some big wins, and we've had some great goals as well. I don't know if it's just this season, but the goals that are being scored, some of them are absolutely phenomenal. I think the goal of the season contest is going to be probably the best we've seen in many years. But yeah, what a weekend for the EFL. As always, I'm going to be covering 3 League 2 games in more detail, but we're still going to have a look at the results as well as League 1 and then the Championship, 5 games being covered. And of course, similar to League 1 and League 2, we will have a look at the rest of the results as well. So then, starting with League 2, I've gone for Crawley up against Tranmere. Tranmere 2-0 winners on the day. And for me, this one, it was a Tranmere game plan executed perfectly with a couple of standout performers. One of them, once again this season, Amari Patrick. Firstly, what a goal it was that he scored for his goal, but the assist from the corner as well. Such a good cross for the corner. So yeah, Amari Patrick, the match winner, really, once again for Tranmere. But Tranmere just looked like such a good team this season. Crawley, yes, they had a lot of possession. Yes, they had some half-decent chances. But realistically, Tranmere for me were the only team that looked like winning. A great 3 points for Tranmere as well. And just to touch on the Amari Patrick goal as well, did anyone else think it was shades of Drogba against Everton? He sort of lets the ball come down onto his right foot, absolutely pings it from outside the box, over the keeper's head, a looping volley. Just a really good finish. And for me personally, Tranmere fans, let me know what you think about this. Amari Patrick, will he actually get a move in the January transfer window? Because he's playing that well again this season. I mean, if they can hold on to him, they're going to be a great side. But yeah, is Amari Patrick destined for a higher league? We'll have to see in January. But what a start to the season he's made. And a great start for Tranmere as well. A team that I didn't have doing too well this season. But again, proving why those early predictions are so hard to call. So yeah, massive 3 points for Tranmere. Crawley, again, more disappointment. They're going to need to do better going on into this season. I am worried about them, but I was convinced a little bit by the possession, by the chances. If they can start converting those and turning those games into draws, maybe they'll have a chance. But yeah, Crawley, as well as, of course, Shrewsbury, they've got to get it started sooner rather than later. Speaking of Shrewsbury, I felt like I had to cover Swindon up against Shrewsbury. In my pre-match prediction, I said it was going to be 3-2 to Swindon. Final score was 2-1. I was along the right lines, but what a finish to the game this was. So, 90th minute, 1-0 to Swindon, and then, of course, Shrewsbury strike back, and it was a bit of a scrappy goal. Swindon defensively a bit disappointed. Of course, they did win 2-1. Bowden, 93rd minute winner. Unbelievable scenes for Swindon. The fans were absolutely unbelievable as well. But going back to that Shrewsbury goal, Will Boyle sort of flicked it anywhere forward. It takes a deflection. It's poor defending. If they would have dropped 2 points from that game, I think Ian Holloway would have been furious. He probably was still a little bit annoyed because what a way to concede so late in the game. But of course, as I mentioned, Bowden did get the winner. And as much as Ian Holloway may be slightly disappointed with conceding that goal, he'll be happy his team got the 3 points. Probably deserved the 3 points on the day. Eli Harrison, someone who I pointed out at the start of the game, was thinking he was going to have a big game for any points to be got. Unfortunately, I do think he could have done better. But listen, he's a young goalkeeper. These mistakes will come. And for me personally, he still had a good game. But yeah, he'll be disappointed to concede that 93rd minute goal. He looked at his defenders, but realistically, he should have had a stronger hand to it, in my opinion. But yeah, Swindon, great few points for them. 3 points at home. Exactly what they need to do to push towards the playoffs. And Shrewsbury, again, a horrible defeat. Just, they've got to hold on in situations like that. It's been a very rocky start to the season so far. So for me, they're going to have to grind results out like that. And when they do get the equaliser in the 90th minute, see the game out. So yeah, Shrewsbury, as I say, similar to Crawley, concerning times, but they're showing enough to show me that they probably won't get relegated. But yeah, it's going to be a bottom half finish for both of those teams. And finally, we're going to do Notts County up against Bromley. What a game this was. The first 30 minutes saw 3 goals, 2 of them coming from Dennis for Notts County. The first, lovely goal, great finish. And the second, a lot of people are talking about the first as what a goal that was. I'm looking at the second, the glancing header towards the far post. Again, I say they look so simple to do. It's more of a flick-on type header, but to actually get it in that far corner. Unbelievable finish from him, and he looks absolutely on it this season so far. But defensively, the worries have been there for Notts County all season, and for me, for the Bromley first goal, they have to do better. It was just a little bit of, it just needed a bit of leadership to just get the ball away, take control of the situation, and when you don't have that, you obviously, of course, then that made the game 1-1. Bromley are back into things. If they would have kept that out, they would have got their second goal through Dennis, 2-0 up and cruising. So yeah, Notts County, it's not quite happened for them so far this season, but that there was a real example of why it's not happened for them, in my opinion. But Bromley, they did battle back into the game. I do think a point was probably a fair result on the day. I mean, the way they got the equaliser, it's tough. It's cruel out here for Notts County. It takes a massive deflection, and the goalkeeper, he's wrong-footed. It's always going to hit the back of the net if it's on target. The goalkeeper couldn't really do anything. So yeah, so Notts County and Bromley, 2-2 it finished. For Notts County, it's a good point, but again, at home, I thought they'd be stronger if they keep the first out. As I say, 2-0 up and cruising. As for Bromley, again, proving to everyone that they don't need Michael Cheek's goals as much as they are important for them, and they're still going to be successful. So as for Bromley, a great result for them. As for Notts County, I'm sure they'll take the point with the rocky start they've had in the informed Bromley. But yeah, Notts County have to be better if they want any chance of the playoffs. And Bromley, are they an outside playoff chance? They really could be at this point. As for the rest of League 2 then, Newport County 1, MK Dons 2, a great result for MK Dons to go behind, to come back. Obviously, the penalty miss as well. So much happened in that game. Another great game that I nearly covered. But yeah, MK Dons, very good 3 points away from home. Walsall 1, Salford 0. Again, a great result for Walsall. This was Salford. They looked like they were getting into the game, couldn't quite make it happen. But if you're a Walsall fan, you're delighted with those 3 points. The place looked full again. There's a lot to like about Walsall in terms of what's going on. They've just got to pull the results together and mount that push up the table, but that is a great help in doing so. Accrington 1, Grimsby 1. This was an interesting one for me. Grimsby, I had them nailed on to win. Accrington, all credit to them. Great performance from them, but yeah, Grimsby disappointed to not get all 3 points. Bristol Rovers 1, Cambridge 0. They've got the job done. They've got their first 3 points of the season. The red card for Cambridge would have helped their cause, of course, but it doesn't matter. 1-0 winners. Great result for Bristol Rovers. Cheltenham, horrible start to life in League 2 this season. They've lost 1-0 to Barnet. Barnet, they have come up, of course, from the conference. Great result for them. This was a game I looked at and they had to win. If they want to stay in this division, it's the games against the Infor. As for Barnet, a game they had to win. I look at this game as a game against an out-of-form team that they have to win if they want to stay in this division. Great 3 points for them. Colchester 0, Barrow 2. Again, I was nailed on for Colchester to at least get a point in this, but Barrow, they dug in. They did really well. They kept those informed strikers quiet. 2-0 winners on the day. Great 3 points for Andy Wings Barrow. Fleetwood 1, Oldham 1. Again, another good point for Oldham, newly promoted team. These are the results you've got to grind out. They could have maybe won 2-1 as well. It was close towards the end, but yeah, 1-1, good result. Fleetwood, they'll probably take that as well. Oldham, bit with their tails up a little bit at the moment. Gillingham 1, Crewe 0. Crewe, how on earth did they not score? Gillingham, last minute winner. Great result for Gillingham, up against an informed Crewe. On another day, it could have finished 3-1 to Crewe. So unfortunate for Crewe. They'll be back, of course, but that was a great game on paper, and it delivered one of the most dramatic endings of the weekend. Now then, let's move on to League 1. And we're going to start with Mansfield. 4-1 winners on the day against Leyton Orient. 3 wins out of 3 in the last 3 games. They are absolutely flying. And I tell you what, I never had them doing this well. I know it's early doors, but they look such a force to be reckoned with. And again, I know Leyton Orient, when they do lose this season, they seem to ship a few goals. But listen, this was a demolition job. What a result for Mansfield. And we've probably got the goal of the weekend. Hendry from near the halfway line lobs the keeper. Unbelievable strike. So audacious to go for. He got another one as well. That adds to now 2 goals, 1 assist for this season for the new signing. And yeah, he just looks to be someone that fits into this system so well, playing in that 10 role. What a performance from him. It wasn't a bad goal from Leyton Orient as well. It was a nice cross in and a good header. But it didn't matter. Mansfield was so on top in this game. I've gone back, I've watched the extended highlights, I've also seen the stats as well. It was all Mansfield, but it's still a good goal for Leyton Orient to score, but it didn't matter, as I say. Mansfield was so on it. What didn't help Leyton Orient, it was the red card. It was a silly red card to give as well. And listen, at this point for me, they were already dead. Just before that, Will Evans, lovely little spin, completely turns the defender on the volley, just a snapshot finish into the top left corner, the sort of middle corner. Unbelievable finish. And it just, if the goal that was scored earlier wasn't scored, that would be a contender for goal of the day. Really impressive strike, and Will Evans looks so on it so far this season. But as I say, if they weren't already dead, the red card finished it off. And, Mansfield, as I say, 3 wins out of 3. The most informed team in League One, in my opinion. Of course, Cardiff and stuff. But Mansfield, the team to beat at the moment. Great result for them. Now then, on to Wycombe up against Reading. Both teams desperate for 3 points, especially Wycombe. It finished 2-2. It was a very close game. I had it down as a 0-0. But the teams just sort of got the juices flowing. There was a couple of great goals. Onyedinma was the one that started it off, and I need to see more from him. Wycombe need to see more from him. He was a player that, for me personally, I was looking at driving them forward. Hasn't quite got it going so far. There was rumours of the Championship moves. They seem to have really died down now. So yeah, a good goal from him. Hopefully this now starts him going off on one. But the Reading comeback was there to be seen. Kamara, what a header it was. Great effort. But for me personally, keeper's got to do better. The header comes in, it comes out from such a distance, and obviously it's a header. It can only have so much power. Expecting him to do better, but he didn't. And then Lewis Wing. I mean, Hendry took goal of the day, but I feel maybe there should be 2 goals of the day given here. Lewis Wing, ball breaks out to him around about 30 yards out. First time finish, rifles it into the top left-hand corner. Unbelievable goal. The place goes crazy. I mean, he himself, obviously, of course, against his former club. What a moment for him that is. Unbelievable strike. Seriously, unbelievable strike. And what I will say is I love the fact that he celebrated. Some people hate this. When it happens against you, it's annoying. But come on, man. This is football. He's just scored a screamer. If anyone was there expecting him to put his hands up and say, yep, sorry. Not a chance. Love the celebration. Love the goal. But at the death, it was Tilly at the back post. An easy header when you look at it, but realistically, all the pressure on his shoulders to make sure it finds the back of the net. And it did. And realistically, I thought Wycombe deserved a point. So for me, it was a fair result. A good point for both teams considering. But as I say, both teams are desperate for 3 points. Everyone thought they'd be near the playoffs. If they're going to start mounting that charge, they need to build some momentum. It has to happen early doors. So yeah, both will be wanting 3 points next time out, but we'll have to see if they can get the job done. And finally, I'm going to go for Stockport up against Burton. What a game this was. 30 minutes in, it couldn't have gone worse for Stockport. 1-0 down and down to 10 men. The red card, 100% a red card for me. We've seen it so many times now this season. The player's through, you're sort of near enough to him, and it's the grab of the shoulder. As soon as your hand is on that shoulder, you run the risk. Now, of course, obviously 1-0 down at the point of the red card. Did he just think, let me just take the hit? For me personally, as I say, I'll always want 11 men on the pitch because it's so hard to come back from 10 men. However, they managed to do so. And did they get a bit lucky in that first half especially? Yes, they did. Did they ride their luck? Of course. But realistically, it's how you come back from it. Jack Diamond having a sensational season so far, and he continued it here. Driving down the left-hand side, making up yards as he's on the left, as I say, cuts across, and then shot into the far right corner. Lovely finish from him. And it's just such a Jack Diamond goal, and that's why he's so valuable for Stockport. But again, we mentioned there was some good goals. It was all about Ollie Norwood. A 30-plus maybe yard free kick, centre of the pitch. So hard to get any sort of movement. The goalkeeper can see it coming from so far away. So what do you have to do? In my opinion, you've got to just strike it. And that is what he did. James Ward-Prowse, eat your heart out. What a free kick. Ollie Norwood off the bar, glints off the bar into the goal. 2-1 to Stockport. And similarly, sometimes there's nothing you can do to stop these goals from happening. Stockport felt the effects of this last week. Ollie Norwood's free kick, no goalkeeper in the world probably saves that. Unbelievable goal to send your team 2-1 up, down to 10 men. Unbelievable comeback. And so my question, Stockport fans, and any fans of League One, Is that the form of champions? When you want to win a title or get promoted, you have to scrape results like that. After the Bradford loss midweek, half an hour in, I saw Stockport losing 1-0 down to 10 men. I thought, ooh, are we beginning to see some signs showing that Stockport might not have enough this season? They proved to everyone that they have enough. They have what it takes. And this is a great example of that. Did they get lucky? Yes. But realistically, they managed to get the job done. 2-1 winners. League One fans, especially Stockport fans, let me know. As I say, is that the form of champions? As for the rest of League One then, Luton 0, Cardiff 1. Great 3 points for Cardiff. The finish from Willock, by the way, out of this world. Such composure to get the job done. But yeah, Luton, unfortunate. Some great saves from Trott for Cardiff as well. He kept them out all game. 1-0 winners Cardiff. Great result for them. Away from home. Rotherham 2, Wigan 2. A good point for both. Both will be happy, as I say. But Wigan obviously needing to sort of get that form back that they started with at the start of the season. And yeah, Rotherham, after a bad start, a point against Wigan, they'll take it. Wimbledon 2, Barnsley 0. They've kept Barnsley from scoring. This surprised me a lot. David McGoldrick missed an absolute sitter early doors. All credit, though, to Wimbledon. Got the job done. Some nice goals as well. Great 3 points for them. Bolton 1, Lincoln 1. This was another one. Two teams in form. Two teams that can score goals. They sort of cancelled each other out a little bit. Bolton, oh my word, it was left so late, wasn't it? But they've managed to get the point. They will be delighted to scrape a point from this. Lincoln, disappointed to go to Bolton. Tough place to go and not hold on. But ultimately, before the game, would both take a point? I think they would have. A good point for both overall, even more so for Bolton. Huddersfield are the form team in League One. As are Stevenage. 1-0 winners to Huddersfield. A great result for them. Another home clean sheet. Great result. As I say, again, Huddersfield, it's going to take a very good team to stop them. Northampton 2, Exeter 0. I had this as an Exeter win. I thought they'd use their midweek sort of push to get them over the line, and they didn't. Northampton, they've pulled it out of nowhere. New loan signing, Ethan Waitley, on loan from Manchester United. Watch out for him because he scored on his debut. So yeah, Northampton, is there a light at the end of the tunnel? There might be after this. 2-0 winners, great result. In form Bradford against out of form Peterborough. It finished 1-1. Bradford looks so good against them. Bradford look good against everyone this season, as do Doncaster. But I thought Bradford were going to get all 3 points. Peterborough left it late. Firth cut inside. They managed to get their goal. What a big moment that was for them. They needed it. The place erupted. So yeah, Peterborough, great point. Bradford be disappointed to not take all 3. I called it the Alsacchio. It was Plymouth 1, Blackpool 0. Does this mean Steve Bruce is going to get sacked? Not this week, but there are now so many eyes watching him. The pressure is on for Steve Bruce. Tom Cleverley, it doesn't matter how you get them. It's the fact that you get the 3 points. New signing Tollage was thrown straight into it. Missed a bit of a sitter. Will he take a bit of time to bed in? He might do, but Plymouth, massive 3 points for them. Tom Cleverley might have slept a bit better that night. Port Vale 0, Doncaster 1. As we mentioned, Doncaster, Bradford really acclimatising well to life in League One. Great 3 points for Doncaster. Port Vale, again, another game without a goal. They're going to have to improve that, especially after getting rid of Tollage as well. So yeah, great weekend results in League One. Some fascinating results as well. I cannot wait to go now into next weekend to see what will happen then. Now then, on to the Championship. We have got West Brom and Portsmouth up first. There was a lot to talk about in this one. So up first, Mikey Johnson, great goal for him, a lovely little finish, and I tell you what, he is someone, when on his day, he is unplayable. The fact he's back in the side, Ryan Mason clearly a fan. I think it's good for West Brom. It's good for people that watch the Championship as well, because as I say, unplayable on his day. West Brom for me, on top for majority of the game. They're such an enjoyable team to watch. And I tell you what, when someone actually mentioned who Ryan Mason has been coached under, Jose Mourinho, Antonio Conte, Ange Postecoglou, you can really see that style of play in his managerial sort of the way he sets his team up. And I'm very, very fascinated to see how West Brom can do this season. In terms of this game, Alex Mowat had the chance to put it to bed. The shot off the post, if that goes in, it's a completely different game. But then there are some things that just happen in a football match that you cannot stop. Josh Murphy back in the Portsmouth side. What a cross it was from him. Unbelievable accuracy to pick out Colby Bishop. And again, the cross was amazing. That's what everyone's talking about. But the header was also so good. Colby Bishop rose highest, that glancing header into the far corner, great finish. And at 1-1, I still thought though, West Brom had enough to go on and get the winner. And of course, the two controversial points that led to Ryan Mason picking up one yellow card and then a second, which led to his red card. Yeah. Let's start with the penalty. So for me, first and foremost, I think it is a penalty. I don't think there's enough of the ball that's there to have been got. I can see the angle, and obviously it's a lunge. He's got maybe a toe to it, a stud even. The smallest amount of contact, not enough for me. He goes through Hegber's, I believe it's his right boot. So for me personally, it should have been a penalty. If we had VAR in the Championship, they would have gone back and I believe given that as a penalty. But that's only one of the two decisions. The second decision, the ball gets played over the top. Hegber, he's sort of wrestling with his man and he's clearly being held back. If he isn't held back and he runs forward, I believe he'd go on to get the ball and it would be a goal scoring opportunity. The problem here is that he was too honest and didn't go down. Now, the referees have got to do something about this because Hegber is honest. He stays on his feet. He tries to play the game, but he's still being fouled. If he goes down and throws himself to the floor, the referee has a decision to make. The problem for me is that the referee should still make a decision just because he's honest and stays on his feet. We want players to stop diving. We want the game to be a more physical game. Referees, you've got to give the decision. The player shouldn't have to go down. It was such a frustrating one to watch. I mean, Ryan Mason, the shots of him banging the floor, because I get it. I can understand the frustration. It should have been a red card and a free kick to West Brom, or a yellow card. If you wanted to try and argue that there was some going for the ball and they were going at each other, fine. But regardless, the referee, he got that one wrong. He got the penalty wrong. Ryan Mason will now face a suspension. It's unfortunate for West Brom, who on the day should have picked up all 3 points. Hull now up against Blackburn. Hull off the back of that Oxford result, they would have been absolutely elated. The stadium announcer, by the way, I mean, this guy, I want whatever he's having before the game because, wow, he goes for it. Unfortunately for him, though, he went for it and Hull just didn't really show up. Blackburn, 3-0 winners on the day. As I say, Ryan Hedges got the first, a lovely little dinked finish. You know, Ryan Hedges is such an acute player when he's at his best, so technically gifted. So, yeah, a lovely finish from Ryan Hedges. And then it was one off the training ground. Hull did go to sleep. It was a free kick, passed into the box, another pass in. It was just a nice training ground routine. Free kick goal, but Hull asleep again. Pandor, he was at fault last week for one of the Oxford goals. I think he's again at fault here. It's just weak goalkeeping, and I understand he might be a bit of a younger goalkeeper in the grand scheme of things, but these mistakes are going to cost Hull. And they were already losing. It could have been 4 or 5 on the day. I don't think it would have cost them, but he's got to get them out of his system. Blackburn, of course, capitalised well. 3 goals for Blackburn, a dominating victory. And it's the most exposed we've seen that Hull defence look all season. That could be because Charlie Hughes missed the game. There was rumours of Coventry making a bid for him. There's now rumours of Crystal Palace offering £14 million for him. So Charlie Hughes, will he still be a Hull player by the end of this window? Maybe not. And if he isn't, Hull could be in serious trouble because that defence, as I say, without Charlie Hughes, looked a lot weaker. Wrexham up against Sheffield Wednesday. Everyone had this as an easy Wrexham win. Wrexham 3 points guaranteed. Sheffield Wednesday, they dug in, and I tell you what, on another day, they would have won the game. It was painful to watch. Of course, I've got a bit of a soft spot for Sheffield Wednesday because any club that goes through horrendous ownership like that, you just want the best for them. You want the upset results. So to take nothing away from Wrexham, I wanted Sheffield Wednesday to get the job done, and they so nearly did. Fair play to Wrexham. They've donated the proceeds of the gold shirt sales to the Sheffield Wednesday Supporters Trust. I think that's a very, very kind thing to do from them. They don't have to. Not many teams in this league will. People will scrutinise Wrexham and their ownership, but fair play to them there. They've got it absolutely spot on in my opinion. And yeah, the game was an interesting one. I feel as though the first Wrexham goal is a real sign of what's to come for Wrexham this season. a lot of scrappy goals. The ball's in the box. It's a bit pinball. It's smashed in because they have got Kiefer Moore in there. They can lump it in. They can rely on his height and his aerial dominance to try and get a few goals. I'm all for it. And yeah, I think it's just a sign of many goals to come for Wrexham. Moore, of course, then got his second. It was poor goalkeeping. It's come in. He's parried it. And Kiefer Moore is just there. The easiest goal he'll score all season long. And I just want to touch Lewis O'Brien. Everything goes through him. He is such a good player. Honestly, he could have gone to a top-end championship team. Maybe he likes the project of Wrexham. Maybe he can see himself there for a few seasons, trying to push them up the table into the Premier League. But let me tell you something. He is a very talented player, and he gets into majority of the championship midfields. But at this point, 2-0 down, Sheffield Wednesday, down and out, it felt like. There was just no real hope they were going to come back into this game, and then all of a sudden, everything shifted. And it actually starts with the goal scorers for... And it actually starts with the goal scorer for Wrexham, Kiefer Moore. Ball gets played into him, and it's such weak forward play from him. His team need him to hold that up. I'll give a really good example of someone that does it so well. Kyle Wootton for Stockport. He needs to hold it up. He doesn't. He's easily dispossessed. Sheffield Wednesday come down the right-hand side. First time ball into the box, smashed in, and all of a sudden it was just a goal from nothing. No one's really panicking too much. And then they went and got another one, another slick move as well. I tell you what, Sheffield Wednesday, even though things are going horrifically for them, they're nice football. And the manager's clearly got a start of play, so fair play to him. But at the death, it fell to Charlie McNeil. It was a counter-attack. It was 3-on-2. Literally, the referee blew as soon as this shot was actually saved, which was just crazy to me. And it's come across. It falls to McNeil. First-time shot. Has to show more composure. He will kick himself. He's clearly got a lot of ability, and he just had to put the ball in the back of the net. If he does, Sheffield Wednesday go to Wrexham, get all 3 points. So yeah, so unfortunate for him to miss that. But Sheffield Wednesday, what a show of grit and resilience from them. Things may be going awfully off the pitch, but on the pitch, we're going to show you that we're not just here as an easy 3 points for everyone. Great result for them. Wrexham, if their fans have aims at the playoffs, they have to win games like this. So yeah, a bad start overall for Wrexham. More goals conceded. I know they're going to make a few signings these last couple of weeks of the window. But yeah, not enough for me. Wrexham, another disappointing display. Sheffield Wednesday, fair play to them. A great point for them. Southampton now up against Stoke. And I thought Stoke were going to get turned over. I thought it was going to be a 2-0 Southampton domination. And we were going to really see where Stoke were in the table. Stoke fans, holding my hands up. Apologies, because what a performance it was from Stoke. Of course, Southampton was still going to have a lot of chances, and on another day, they could have scored a few goals. I mean, especially in regards to those crosses from wide positions, whether it was Ryan Manning or Ryan Fraser. Those balls in, absolutely lethal. Stewart, oh my word. The ball comes across from Manning, and he should score. It's basically a tap-in, and he can't get the ball in the back of the net. They also hit the post twice. Robinson off the post twice, and let me say... So obviously Tyler Dibbling has completed his move to Everton. Southampton Academy, yep, have the next one. Have the next one. So the fact they've already replaced Tyler Dibbling with another Academy graduate, what? I mean, how are they doing this? Southampton Academy is one of the best academies in the league, and it's clearly proven as to why. So Robinson hit the post twice, unfortunate to not get a goal himself. But Stoke just looks so good going forward. Manahoff, Mbama, Sorba Thomas, these three look so good. Now, Mbama, he needs to learn from this. So he gets his yellow card, and it's a stupid foul from behind. A bit of aggression, fine, but gets his yellow card. At that point there, you've got to stay calm. You've got to relax. He goes round Bazunu, and it looks to be an open goal. As soon as he's gone round him, just put the ball in the back of the net. He hasn't been contacted, and he just falls to the floor. The referee has no choice. Second yellow card. I don't actually think the referee realised that he'd already booked him at first. But as soon as he goes down, just put the ball in the back of the net, lad. You've already done the hard part. He's cost his team. And at this point here, I thought, well, it's going to be over for Stoke. Southampton now, they're going to get all 3 points. But Stoke held on and managed to get the win. Sorba Thomas looked like he sealed the deal. Taylor Harwood-Bellis came back with a nice goal. But for me, the man to talk about here is Victor Johansson. First of all, what an assist from him for the Sorba Thomas goal, unbelievable goalkeeping, but also his saves, his shot stopping, absolutely fantastic. He is a goalkeeper that needs to be playing in the Premier League. And listen, the way things have started, it might even be with Stoke City. So yeah, we'll have to see. But Stoke 2, Southampton 1. What a result for Stoke. Mark Robins is driving that Stoke team on. I thought that the Derby game was just a bad Derby side. I thought Sheffield Wednesday were just a bad Sheffield Wednesday side. You can't say anything about this Southampton side. What a result for Stoke. As I say, Mark Robins proving everyone wrong, proving me wrong in particular. And finally, Coventry up against QPR. Wow. So I predicted this one to be 2-1. I did think it was going to be a relatively close game. And yeah, Coventry won 7-1. So there you go. It was not a close game. QPR, they're still missing a couple of players up front. It wouldn't have mattered. Forget QPR. They were shocking. It's all about Coventry City. It's all about Hadji Wright, Jack Rudoni, Victor Torp. Do you know what? The list could go on. Van Avik. They all played absolutely out of their skin. Just before the game, it was announced that the Coventry City Stadium, the CBS Arena, was now permanently owned by Doug King and the board at Coventry City. The club owning its stadium, which for some fans, they may look at that and think, well, yeah, you own your stadium. Well done. But this club has been moved out of the city twice. There has been a relegation down to League Two. It is just, honestly, everything that could have gone wrong for Coventry City. There's not many fan bases that have had it worse. Of course, your Morecambes, your Berries. Listen, of course, those fans have had it really bad. But Coventry, the size of the club that they are, they should have been nowhere near League Two. So, yeah. They've come back, they've purchased their stadium. There was clearly a huge bounce about the whole place. Like, I've never, ever in my life fancied a team to win more. Because, you know, great news for them. The place was absolutely electric. And yeah, 7-1 winners. Unbelievable. So I won't go into too much detail about all 7 goals, but what I will mention is, first of all, the goal of the day, Victor Torp. Remember, Victor Torp was signed as the Gus Hamer replacement. It never quite worked out, and that's because Gus Hamer is absolutely superb. But is he now beginning to sort of play that role, learning from one of the best midfielders the world has ever seen, Frank Lampard? I think we are. As well as that, another player that is clearly learning from Frank Lampard, Jack Rudoni. Unbelievable performance from him. Genuinely, really, really impressive from Jack Rudoni. Pulling the strings, goals, assists, that is what he does. And I'm now expecting him to push on after what I would describe as a relatively slow start to the season. And we will mention, of course, Hadji Wright on the left wing. It was actually Wright on the left, Mason Clark on the right, Sakamoto dropped down to the bench. So I look at that and think Hadji Wright, clearly a left winger for Frank Lampard, and off the left, he's so dangerous and he looks so good as well. When Hadji Wright is up for it, there's not many better strikers in this league. The problem is he's not always up for it. So if Frank Lampard can get him going, he's got one of the best forwards in the league on that left side. And of course, though, I will mention QPR, they did get their goal. Rushworth, he's had a few moments where I look at and think, in the big games where it's a lot tighter than 7-1, is he going to make the odd mistake here and there? He might do. It might just be a bit of a teething sort of period for him as the new Coventry goalkeeper. But listen, as I said, forget QPR. Kone got his first QPR goal. Good for him. Forget about him. Saturday was all about Coventry City. All about them buying the CBS Arena. What a day for the club. What a 3 points. The goal difference looks absolutely phenomenal now as well compared to everyone else's. They nearly went and broke the record. Unbelievable. Coventry City, hats off to them. On and off the pitch, things are looking better than ever. As for then the rest of the championship, Charlton 0, Leicester 1 for Tuwu, cut inside, top corner. What a finish. Swansea 1, Watford 1. This was a great game. Swansea managed to get the leveller a little bit further into the game. Nestroy Irankudu, the player that I said watch out for. What a free kick, and that is why I said it. Birmingham 1, Oxford 0. It could have been 3 or 4, and on another game they would have been punished, but Oxford couldn't really get anything going. Birmingham look so strong this season. Great 3 points for them. Norwich 1, Middlesbrough 2. Middlesbrough, a bit of a surprise package this season. Great result for them away from home. Tough place to go, Norwich. Tough place to go was Millwall. They've got the job done once again. Preston 1, Ipswich 0. No one gave them any chance. I didn't, but they've done it again. Leicester and Ipswich, 6 points back to back. Unbelievable from them. Sheffield United 0, Millwall 1. What a result for Millwall. Sheffield United, they should have scored so many more goals. They have to get this sorted. Ruben Sells will be encouraged, but still ultimately very concerned. And that is the end of the EFL review. Thank you so much for watching. Apologies, I've been ill this week, so if I look and come across a little bit tired, whatever it might be, I do apologise. But yeah, we will be back next week. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.